here, you can kind of see it pops down, debris signature, tornado, and now it's gone.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't see any power outages near that area. So
that's hard to warn right there.
Yeah,
that's hard to warn right there.
Yeah, that really see it happening, and by the time you've got the warning typed out, it's likely already done what it's going to do, and that's the frustrating part of this. But again, there was a debris signature very quickly. It was confirmed, and now it's pretty much gone. So we then look to see where the next one that does that exact same thing. This is a big rainfall producer. We've got a large area of rainfall coming in, and there is a new flash flood warning that's within this large area here. I think we're going to get, in some spots, I think 4 or 5 inches of rain is certainly a possibility. If we can go back to our other source, I'll show you the new flash flood warning, along with our tornado warning, which is in purple. But look at the broader area on StormScan. If we can flip over to that real quick, you can see this large green area, Little Rock down to Pine Bluff, over to Sheridan, and back up into the western part of Pulaski County there. So that is a new flash flood warning area, and it's because of this band that's moving up through, and I'll put it into motion here for you. But look at that. That is a tremendous amount of water that's coming up toward the Little Rock area. There's going to be some spots there that get just drenched tonight. I think flash flooding is a possibility. Here we go with this still a bit of a rotation showing up. And the debris signature is still kind of there. Yeah, right there. That just means probably that what was up in the air hasn't fallen out yet, but it's, as the Weather Service characterized it, probably a tiny tornado that was briefly on the ground. And boy, we're going to be in that pattern, I'm thinking, for a little while longer, unfortunately. But you can see these areas that kind of hang down, little indentations within this whole line. Any of those, I think, have the potential to briefly rotate. So that's why we have to be so vigilant in watching the radar tonight. The Weather Service is doing a great job in not ideal circumstances. Let's go back to, we can go back to computer number 1 or 2 rather really quickly. And yeah, I don't see any good sign of rotation within that tornado warning. I think in a few more scans, they're probably going to let that one go for tonight, and then we just wait on the next one to come up our way. Just give you some perspective on this. Little Rock, you're kind of at the north edge of this heavy, heavy band of rain. I mean, it's going to pour over the next hour, hour and a half, it appears. Pine Bluff, you're getting heavy rain. England, down into the southern part of Pulaski County, far northern Grant County as well. But this tornado warning, although I see a little bit of a rotating feature there, I don't think that that's going to stick around for very much longer.
So I'm trying to diagnose on radar what is a debris signature and what's not. You know, look at these small areas of rotation. And the tornado that seems to have touched down there in the Jefferson County, you follow the debris signature, it actually kind of ramps back up as it moved off towards the north.
Yeah.
But it did so without a lot of velocity to kind of back that up. So I think maybe that that's not a tornado that's down. Possibly the tornado has lifted at that location. There's also another spot out in the eastern part of the county near Altimer, maybe a quick tornado touchdown near Altimer. If I can get the data load there, it's yeah, could have been a quick one there. That's just how it's been going tonight. You get quick, very quick moving tornadoes. They're not down for very long. It's quite possible we've had more than we know of, because if a tornado quickly touches down, downs a few trees, it gets back up. It's hard to say exactly what it is. But you see there near Earl Chadick Road, that's seems to be the leftovers of the debris signature that we had. So, but the velocity signal is just so weak. Still could have a tornado there.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it's still happening, but tonight is just weird.
Yeah, yes, it is. The good news is, on the other side of the metro area, I don't notice a ton of areas that are rotating.
Right. It looks like that this area is kind of migrating off toward the east a little bit, and hopefully we just start to see the whole system begin to wind down.
That is
somewhat.
a wall of water that is approaching the downtown area. I'm going to pull up the downtown camera, and we're going to watch this come in because it is about to be quite rainy. And there you see the visibility is dropping at Little Rock. The camera is shaking. We've got some lightning coming in with this, Barry. Not often that you see a ton of lightning with a tropical system that moves inland like this, but we've actually got quite a bit of lightning. These are thunderstorms. Normally that is not the case.
Right.
Tropical systems usually low-topped storms. This has just been a bit of a different deal tonight.
Yeah. Just a very vigorous system. A lot of uplift in this right front quadrant where we are. And, we're getting a lot of lightning there. I was trying to look for the, if you could go to computer number 2, this is the Big Rock interchange. It's kind of locking up from time to time, but it is pouring out there in the western part of the city, and that's going to be the whole city here in just a very short amount of time. Other areas, this is downtown. And a lot of lightning there from the River Market. Trying to think if we have some others. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. This is here in Riverdale, and you can just maybe barely see the tops of the downtown buildings here. It's pouring so much. Well, let's go back to our radar. And there we go. And we're going to continue to watch for any more signs of a dropout there as far as debris. Don't think so anymore. There's some rotating energy within that tornado-warned box. But I don't know that it's still producing a tornado, James.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, looks like the remnant of what was a debris signature, but at least for the moment, the velocity signature is so weak. I mean, very, very weak. They're off of Joe T. Hensley Road. That's the area of rotation that I'm talking about. This spot right here. So there's the weak rotation, and there still is a little bit of a debris signature holding on, but it's kind of the back of the storm there catching up to it, Barry. It's kind of hard to make out exactly what that is. As I scan through the rest of the metro area for any areas of rotation, I don't see any. I think the best chance for rotation now may come out in eastern Arkansas. In fact, as I look out here, I can spot 2 or 3 spots that we're going to have to watch.
I think that's where it's all translating.
Yeah, away from the metro area.
It's going farther east. It's Pine Bluff. Then it's into that eastern section of the state. It seems like is the more likely area. But that one certainly did ramp up fairly quickly there in Jefferson County.
The velocities, though, just dropped off so quick. After you had the quick tornado touchdown, it's just another example of having a quick tornado, and then the tornado is gone. And then it's just a all-out search to find where the next one might be. We have looks like a developing area of rotation there coming out of Arkansas County onto the Jefferson County line. That's a little bit more of a broad area of rotation, but that's a spot that we will keep a close eye on because that's moving towards the northwest. Other than that, Barry, I feel fairly confident that they may drop this tornado warning for Pulaski County, Lone Oak County, Jefferson County, as the threat of a confirmed tornado certainly seems to have come and gone.
I wish I could say we were done for tonight, but I don't believe we are out in the eastern counties of the state.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All the way from England and the northern part of Jefferson County out through places like Stuttgart and Humphrey.
You've got a lot of little cells that are kind of popping up and moving towards the northwest, and that is just in a perfect area for those to rotate. And I think some of them will, and we're going to see a few more tornado warnings tonight as that system moves towards, as we're just moving north.
The flash flood warning that's in effect for the Metro, for Benton, for Sheridan, Pine Bluff. That's in effect until 2 a.m. They're saying that between 1 and 2 inches of rain has fallen. I think it's more than that. And 2 to 3 more inches are entirely possible with that area. So we'll continue to watch that. I do believe that they will drop the tornado warning for the northern part of Jefferson County as we're looking at this, what was a confirmed tornado with a debris signature with that storm that threw debris up in the air, and now it continues to move off to the north. You're still in a tornado warned area. I know sirens are probably going off in some area. That's why if you have that, or you have the weather app, KETV weather app, tune in here and we can say, hey, you know what? You're in a tornado warning area, but things are getting better, or things are getting worse, or we can give you an update on it, because there's no better way to visualize what is happening than us showing you the radar and doing analysis of it in cooperation with the Weather Service. It's just the best way that we it's the best thing that we do here. we do a lot of good stuff, I think, on Channel 7, but it's just one of the best things and the easiest things that we can show you and keep you safe. I don't see a lot happening within all of this, but we'll continue to watch it.
The Weather Service says they're still tracking the debris signature, but now it's gotten to the point where it's kind of hard to track it because there's so much interference as the back edge of the storm continues to work its way towards the north. So I think we had a debris signature there for just a short minute.
And they've let it go.
And then we have the possibility that the tornado then diminishes as it moves further towards the north. So that's why they have just now canceled the tornado warning. So there's another example of the tornadoes getting down very quickly and then lifting and being gone. And the debris signature works a lot better the closer to the radar you are. When our storms were in South Arkansas earlier, that was a lot harder to do. Mm-hmm. But now it's just for the moment, all this heavy rain moving into downtown. We're in for an inch or two of rain here within the next hour. And then we're going to really have to watch these cells out in East Arkansas. I think those are going to be able to rotate here over the next 2 or 3 hours.
Any of those that you've seen? There was one kind of south of Humphrey, but it doesn't look...
Nothing looks immediately tornadic, at least at the moment.
And we know how quickly that can change.
Yes, it can.
Within that very, very heavy rain area coming into the Little Rock area, I don't see any obvious signs of rotation, and that's good news. This is just the wind field inside. I'll take you back to the radar, the reflectivity part of this, and that is just a wall of water that's moving up. That's an incredible amount of rainfall. But that's what tropical systems do.
All right, I got another spot to watch. So it's going to be Jefferson County, right along Highway 31. And if you put that in motion, you can kind of see over the last 10 minutes or so, we've got an increase in low-level rotation. So that's right there. Getting close to State Farm Road here in just a moment. This is just to the northeast of Sherrill.
Yep.
And again, we're in Jefferson County, kind of off towards the east of where the last circulation was. This one, and we're about 3 or 4 scans in a row where it's gotten stronger. We'll see if that continues. The Weather Service, of course, watching it as well, and it is a little bit tighter now.
Yeah.
So I think we're about to do this whole thing again.
Oh, I really hope not. I really hope one of these underperforms rather than overperforms, but I believe that you're correct out to the east of Tucker.
Yep.
Northeast of Sherrill, I think there is.
So there's no warning in effect, but up towards Coy, England, and then especially in that corridor, that corridor of far northern Jefferson County, be in your safe place. Just go ahead and go. Dover Road, State Farm Road, Murchison Lane, Burgess Road up at the county line. All those spots, I think we're about to have the possibility of a tornado. It has spun up very quickly. I've just kind of watched it over the last couple of minutes. And I'll slow this down for you so it's kind of easier to take in. But that's exactly how it's happened 2 other times in Jefferson County. And I think now what we do is we watch for debris signature.
Absolutely. That's what I was just going to say. Let me look at storm scan if we can. Flip over to the other source. And right there is what James is looking at. So it's out to the east of Tucker. It's in that very heavy rain band. You're not going to see it. There's Coy. There's Umnoke right there. And so our the debris, I don't see anything in it right now that matches up. But the velocity is a little tighter, I believe, than it was. It's right there. So the circulation center would be right there and moving up towards Lonoke County out of the northern part of northeastern part of Jefferson County, moving off to the north. And James, that's really all that we have to look for. It's even stronger on the next time right there. It's beginning to increase the velocity structure of this. It's one of those that just pops up, and I would be shocked if we don't see some debris that has been taken up into the atmosphere. But I don't see it quite yet. It would be right in there.
I mean, you just never know. You just had a radar signature that looked a lot weaker, produced a tornado, and now you have a radar signature that's a lot stronger, at least at the moment, not producing a debris signature. So the Weather Service, watching this area of rotation, holding back on issuing a tornado warning, at least for the moment. But that's, there's not a lot of time with these circulations developing. So along Arkansas Highway 31, Burgess Road, Murchison Lane, Dover Road, State Farm Road, quickly get into your tornado safe place as we monitor this circulation is quickly increased. I'm going to be watching the next scan, and it's even tighter there. And there's the tornado warning, presumably for,
I'm sure it will be.
There we go. Lonoke County, northern Jefferson County. Tornado, and we're possibly about to have a tornado down. So these have not been holding together. So this tornado warning does go all the way to Pettis. It does include Keogh. But the immediate threat that we're going to focus in on is going to be south of England and Coy, because these are moving at 25 miles per hour, and they're not holding together long enough for us to really look too far down the road. So Dover Road, that's where we're looking right now. Possible tornado getting ready to drop. I still don't see anything on the debris signature, but we have a very strong circulation. And again, this is Arkansas 31. There's Tucker Maximum Road. Tucker Maximum, I believe, is right there just off towards the southwest of the circulation. And this is moving towards the north. So just missing Tucker Max here by a short distance. Burgess Road right here at the county line. We'll get a scan here about every 90 seconds to 2 minutes. We'll kind of be able to see. And what's probably going to happen is if a tornado is going to be produced, it's going to tighten up again, and maybe for another scan, we'll see a tornado drop, and then we'll probably see another weakening trend like we've seen with the last couple of tornadoes in Jefferson County. So Jefferson County has been the hot spot, and there you see it, Barry. It's a little bit tighter, pixel to pixel.
And that's still nothing on the debris detector.
Hard to pick out,
but hard to pick out. There could be some interference coming in there, but let's just assume that it's on the ground, and that if you're in any of those roads, Dudley Road, Murchison Lane, Dover Road, Grimes Road, Burgess Road, you've got to get into that safe spot, even if it's brief, and it's going to be brief. It appears everything's been so brief, but you can see, watch how it comes up, and right there, a bright red and green couplet that will be moving right on up toward England, or in between England and Humnoke, along 165 right there. But the northward movement should take it right up along Highway 31, and a number of folks living along that highway, and then up along 165 on up to the north. Still, I'm looking for, no, I still don't see much. So maybe this isn't on the ground, but let's assume that it is. There's a tornado warning out there, and this is going to be an area that we're going to have to watch. I think increasingly is that eastern, out to the east of Little Rock, east and southeast. We saw Jefferson County, now Jefferson County up into Lonoke County, and I think we'll watch on out to the east a little bit later on for these storms to again rotate. And I know it's an exhausting night for the National Weather Service, for us, and for those of you who are worried about a possibility of a brief tornado touchdown. And it's just one of those things we're going to have to get through, folks. The remnants of Beryl are powerful, weakening for sure, but the wind field and the moisture content with this is just kind of off the chart.
So last scan does weaken it just a tad, and I put it in motion. It goes just to the east of Tucker Max, and it's really strongest near State Farm Road, and it kind of drops off. It's still strong, and definitely still strong enough to produce a tornado in this environment, but not as strong as it's on the west side of Murchison Lane. So as it approaches Burgess Road, stay in your safe place. But hopefully this didn't drop a tornado. Of course, tonight it seems every radar signature that gets this strong does drop a tornado. So remain in your safe spot, and hopefully we continue to see this circulation weaken. That is the goal, is to see them not produce tornadoes.
On out to the east,
yeah,
around Humphrey, there's a little bit more happening out there. And if you look at the debris detector, see if there's anything that you see there.
I think it's not really matched up too well.
Maybe not. Just to the north of Humphrey. Yeah, not quite. That may have been a little false return there, but there is some rotation along with that. In a more broad sense, and
the latest scan on our Jefferson County storm even weaker.
Yeah.
So it's just a cycle that's going to repeat itself, strengthening very quickly, possibly producing a tornado, and then weakening after that. Mm-hmm. And this is going to weaken before it gets into Lonoke County.
Yeah, and that's great news, and it's typical of what's been happening. They just fire up, and then they can't sustain themselves. They can't keep growing up. And I think there's just a lot of rain that's pulling these things down. I just think there's so much rain content with these that they try to move up, and then they just can't sustain. So again, we're just watching for what is next, which one is next. But this one certainly looks a lot weaker on this last scan as it was headed up in the vicinity of Coy. But I don't think the rotation will ever make it that far. And we never saw any debris that was with that storm. So, James, this is it just seems like it goes on and on and on.
This is exhausting.
Yeah,
for sure.
It really is.
And not easy to track these tornadoes. When you have supercells, you at least know exactly where those tornadoes are going to be, and we've got some mini supercells out there tonight, but some of these areas of rotation are just in the middle of areas of rain. There's really no rhyme or reason. Some of these areas of rotation have been in showers. I will say, Barry, just looking at reflectivity, the next spot I'm going to look at to check is northwest of Humphrey.
Yeah.
We kind of have a little tail coming out of that line there, and sure enough, there's an area of rotation that's kind of developed and is trying to get its act together. So we'll see. You see the area of rotation to the west, north of Sherrill, strong near Arkansas 31, then much weaker. And then you look towards the east, and we're starting to see a broad area of rotation develop, and that's going to get into southern Lonoke County before I think it tries to really become tornadic. Another spot we may watch there on the Lonoke County line. I mean, we could be here all night if I told you all the spots we were watching on this map. There's quite a few out there. The tornado warning remains in effect, Barry. There's still a pretty tight couplet, but each scan over the last 4 minutes has continued to show weakening. It is just between Grimes Road and Burgess Road. So if there is rotation, that's where it's happening. If there's anything on the ground, that's where it's at. But we do not have a debris signature this time on this Jefferson County storm. So that's some good news.
I like the trend.
Yes, we had 2 debris signatures, and now we don't have one. As you're looking at the back edge of the rain has stopped in Pine Bluff, and there's still a little bit to go, but the heaviest rain now to the north, and that's a good sign. At Adams Field, it is coming down, and as I check the observations just from the last few minutes, I'll be able to tell you exactly how much rain has fallen, and the rainfall rate that we're dealing with here at Little Rock. We are,
Take a look at computer number 2, if we can.
outside. That's pouring.
That is downtown, and it is hammering.
And we've got about 0.3 of an inch of rain in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And winds are gusting to 20, 25, 28, 31 miles per hour. So it's coming down, and I think Little Rock will very easily get an inch of rain here with a little bit more to go. Maybe 2.
Yeah, this
As
is
quickly as it's falling there. The view from West Little Rock is something. That West Little Rock camera. Rain's falling heavily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the circulation that's in northern Jefferson County almost completely gone. If you'll follow with me here, it's pretty much was at its strongest along State Highway 31, and they kind of take a turn to the west and completely diminished. So there's not much more left for that one. As we search for other scans, the circulation near Umphrey, I think these are starting to move a little bit quicker. Looks like it's beginning to decrease there along Arkansas State Highway 13. And the area of rotation approaching the Lonoke County line is, looks like broad. So not immediately concerning for a tornado. Maybe we can go through a couple hours here without a tornado warning.
Wouldn't that be something? Or the rest of the night. That would be great
that'd be
also.
nice.
Yeah. For right now, they are going to continue the tornado warning. It says capable of producing a tornado, so they're going to continue it for a little while longer. And there is a tiny little couplet there. The trend is certainly for it to weaken somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing's been falling apart. It's right there, and you see it just every moment since about 11:15. It's been falling apart. So I don't expect that warning will be in effect much longer. So while I feel like the danger to England and Coy is low, you are still under a tornado warning, and we'll continue to monitor that storm as it moves towards the north. You're getting very, very heavy rain, and now we'll just work on scanning through the rest of the radar imagery to see if anything is rotating. We're coming up on midnight here, and you would think the threat for tornadoes would begin to just kind of drop a little bit.
Yeah, you would think, and I think it will. But there's some area.
The radar scan in East Arkansas already looks a little bit better. Not quite as many things rotating, at least right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And this is the only area that has a tornado warning right now, and this will likely be dropped fairly quickly. But I don't think we're completely done. The center of rotation with the storm itself. Maybe
there's a couple of
somewhere around Texarkana.
A couple of appendages there that look like they might have some rotation, and I guess it's south of Humnoke there.
Yeah,
that we'll have to keep an eye on. You see that right there?
Yeah.
There's this little spot with some weak rotation. It's kind of a little bit more of a classic hook coming out of the back of that area of rain. So that'll be one spot to watch. The couplet that existed on the Jefferson-Lonoke County line now completely gone. I'd imagine the Weather Service may opt to cancel that tornado warning.
Planning on canceling the Lonoke County tornado warning shortly, says the National Weather Service. So yes, James is correct, and as he often is. We are going to continue to watch that rotation die and then be replaced by yet another one. Again, the rain is just really prolific now in the Little Rock area. There could be some low spots, those typical low spots that could have some urban flooding for sure. Let's go back to our storm scan if we can. And again, we're talking about the appendages hanging down from some of these storms. Yeah, those are the things that we're going to be looking at with the... Just hard to tell right now, but southeast of Humnoke, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the one spot that we were watching northwest of Humphrey.
I'll go back.
There's definitely weak rotation there, but probably not enough for a tornado warning.
Right. But in the next scan, it could ramp up. We are still under a tornado warning. They're still under a tornado watch until midnight tonight. And we're going to be watching these storms out to the east. I'm going to go back to our reflectivity mode and just show you what we're dealing with. But until midnight tonight, most of the southern, a little more than half of the state is under this tornado watch because of all the spin in the atmosphere. Circulation around the circulation center, which is coming into southwestern Arkansas right now, of what was Hurricane Beryl. It's now just a tropical depression. It continues to weaken and weaken and weaken and weaken as it comes up into the state. But boy, did it pack a punch as far as wind down into Texas. For us, wind, yes, but just the curvature of the wind and the spin in the atmosphere. Our tornado warning has just been canceled.
The Little Rock Airport, which I'll zoom in on that, has received a 1/4 inch of rain in 13 minutes.
Yeah,
We're quickly closing in on 3/4 of an inch of rain since the top of the hour. So it is raining very heavily, and the front end of that rain is getting into Sherwood, Jacksonville, Camp Robinson. And it comes down quick. In fact, as you see it advancing towards the radar, it's kind of making all the data a little bit, it's come back a little bit less hot because the radar data has so much rain falling at the radar site.
Right, it confuses the radar until you can't get all the data that you need.
But as far as the tornado risk goes, a couple areas to watch right now. There's a developing area of rotation north of Coy, and then we're watching the area of weak rotation near Humna. We should probably just watch this area north of Coy just to see if it's going to do anything.
It's already 11:34. We've been on for a while, so let's do, because it does look like there is something that wants to, a little extenuation of the inbound winds that are coming into that storm. So I'm sure the National Weather Service is also watching this very carefully. And
it doesn't look quite as impressive on some other sources. So that's good. I don't think it's worth a tornado warning at this point, but things that have been worth tornado warnings have developed very quickly tonight.
We'll have some sunshine coming in.
Yeah, the late tomorrow.
I think southwest Arkansas, maybe even late tomorrow morning, but I think the rest of us in the afternoon hours, I think it's going to be a day of getting rid of all of this. You may wake up with some rainfall for the morning drive, though. So looking out into southern Lonoke County and points east, that's really where we would look for rotation, and nothing really standing out right now to me as far as that's concerned. But it would be out in this area
just
that we're looking at.
Going over some rainfall totals just as this line moves towards the north. Sheridan is closing in on 2.5 inches. Hensley closing in on 3. Arkadelphia is over 2. And in the metro area, some West Little Rock totals are pretty impressive. One of the gauges in West Little Rock is at 2.5. A couple others out there at 1.5. Maumell's at 1/2 inch in a very short period of time. Little Rock Airport's closing in on 3/4 inch, and Pine Bluff Arsenal's closing in on 1 inch. So that rain is piling up very, very fast. Thankfully, this is moving through pretty quickly, so hopefully most of us won't ever have to see any flash flooding with this. Even though I did get a video from Benton of some street flooding, and that's understandable.
Rainfall estimates, I'm seeing an estimate of 5.1 inches. That could be a little bit of an overdue, but I don't know. It's in East End, 4.9 in Bryant, and 4.2 in West Little Rock. Now, I don't think the gauges have probably picked up that much, but there are some very, very heavy totals that have come in a few spots. And I think tomorrow morning when all is said and done, we're going to we'll see some spots that got over 5 inches of rain, maybe over 5.5 or 6 inches of rain in a few spots. Generally speaking, I think 2 to 3 inches will probably cover a lot of it. And this is the heaviest rain, I think, that's moving through the Little Rock area right now. We will have other little bands of rain coming through, but I think this is our really heavy rain. Places like over in Lonoke County, that's your heavy, heavy rain. Pine Bluff, you had your heavy rain. Grant County also. There will be some other areas of rainfall rotating on through. I'm not seeing much in the way of rotation out on the east, to the east of Little Rock area.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. I don't see much out there right now. We'll have to watch the weak rotation near Humnoke. But for the most part, that's a lot of heavy rain and not a whole lot of rotation ongoing. So right now, as of 11:37, I guess we started with tornado coverage at 5:30. And so 6 hours later, hopefully we can catch our breath. We haven't had too many breaks here in the last 6 hours. Just tornado warning after tornado warning. We've had at least several confirmed tornadoes. There's Lafayette County, several in Columbia County, Dallas County, 2 in Jefferson County. So when all is said and done, we may end up with 6, 7, or 8 tornadoes, which is really significant for the month of July. It's a month that we do not see tornadoes. Pretty rare here for our state. Because usually it's just hot and humid. There are no tornadoes in July in Arkansas. Very rare.
James, we have had, John Lewis says we've had 3/4 of an inch at the Little Rock Airport in 9 minutes.
Wow. That's incredible.
That is...
And that's flash, there's nothing you can do. There's going to be flash flooding with that.
Yeah, in those heaviest spots, I'm afraid. But looking for areas of rotation out to the east, the one near Humnoke is still kind of diffuse. I just don't see a lot happening in that area. And so hopefully we have a bit of a break here coming up. Still something around the Humnoke area, but...
Feels like we're hopefully hitting a point here where things are finally starting to just shift towards heavy rain.
Well, I think so, and that would be awesome if that is the case.
Because at least the rotation near Humnoke is very broad. I mean, it would really have to tighten up very quickly to get a tornado out of that.
Right.
Which it may do at some point, but at least that's not what's happening here in the next few minutes. I know we have a rather large audience with us on TV, Facebook, Twitter. We're also live on YouTube. We appreciate you staying with us. We apologize for having to interrupt regular programming, The Bachelorette this evening. You can find that tomorrow on Hulu Live if you did miss The Bachelorette tonight. Just watching each little storm to see if any signs of rotation pop up. But once again, things kind of seem to just be transitioning towards a heavy rain threat. I'll give you the latest observation from Adams Field, where we have received almost an inch of rain in the last 10 minutes. So that is some dangerous flash flooding that's happening. And Barry, unfortunately, looks like the circulation in Humnoke is a little bit tighter. Just the last scan near Quack Shack Road.
Perhaps.
A little bit tighter. I'll go back a scan or two. So we'll have to see if anything comes of that. But just looking at, it's a good thing that this area of rain is about to get away from Little Rock and North Little Rock, because that is just an insane amount of rain. In 5 minutes, we've had almost half an inch of rain. In the last 10 minutes, we've had almost an inch of rain.
Yeah, if you projected that out over an hour, an inch in 10 minutes would be 6 inches per hour, and that is an unreal rate. You can't handle that much rain no matter how dry it's been. We are watching this area around Humnoak here, just a little bit of tightening, a little bit of brightening of the winds going away and toward the radar site. So we'll keep a close eye on that. We're 165 and 13 come together around Humnoak. It looks, well, if you just looked at the radar, and there it is. There's the tornado warning. And we kind of fear that that might be the case. But this is in effect, I would say, for what, 30 minutes probably.
Yeah.
And it is for the area from Humnoak up to the north, just as we were talking about it. I will back out and show you what is included in this. So Lone Oak and Carlisle, you're actually technically in this tornado warning, although this is far north of you. And this rotation, which generally they've been very brief, would have to make it all the way up there. But that is the storm that is causing it as it continues to move off to the north. We'll see if we have any debris signature with it. This doesn't look like a super tight couplet, but it does look, and just as I say that, the new velocity scan comes in, and it really brightened considerably. Yeah. So right along Highway 13, if you're along there, get into that safe spot in your house. Interior part, hopefully this will not last very long, but we have to see then if there is any debris that has been lofted with this. And
I don't see it.
probably not yet, no. But over the last few scans, you can see how it got a little tighter, a little stronger. The wind's going away from the radar site and coming toward the radar site. And that would be the point at which those join together. That's where we're seeing the possibility of a tornado on the ground. So if you're in that area, kind of the center line of this tornado warning polygon, that's what we're looking at. The area is much larger than the actual rotation there. But this is an area that is rotating, and we're going to continue to watch this. I'll put it into motion for you over the last 30 minutes, and you can see, I'll kind of broaden it out just a little bit.
Kind of a couple of areas, actually.
Yeah, there's one area up toward Hamilton, the small community up there, that is starting to look a little worse as well. So I'll zoom in on both of those for you. And it's this one north of Humnoak, and it's this one that's southwest of that very small community, Hamilton, where I guess this is Hamilton, what road is that? Hamilton Loop. So Hamilton Loop. And Rose Chapel, Jordan Brake Road.
Quack Shack.
The Quack Shack Road. Jordan Brake Road, moving up along Highway 13. Isbell Road over here. If you're anywhere along Highway 13 right there, just go ahead and get into that safe spot. This is right down the center line. This won't be a large tornado. This won't be one that goes on forever, but it could be producing damage, and it could be, if I don't know if we have any dropouts in the debris detector or not there, but
I don't see one at this time.
Flash flood warning has been issued for here in central Arkansas, but there are two spots that we're watching, north of Humnoak, and right here there is some rotation as it heads on up. And I'll just back out a little bit and show you that Carlisle, you would be next up. Sure, tornado sirens are going off in the county, but the rotation is way south of Carlisle. And Lone Oak, you're kind of on the edge of this. The circulation is down into the southern part, or down around, and to the north now of Humnoak.
All right, so let's take a look again at the tornado warned storm. I'm zoomed in to the far southern part of Lone Oak County, and this is Highway 13 near Quack Shack Road, and there's a couple areas of rotation kind of embedded within the larger area of rain that's been moving off towards the north. And Barry, unfortunately, this area of rain has kind of taken on its own life as its own little thunderstorm out there by itself. So since it's doing that, it's able to rotate a little bit more effectively, kind of away from the massive area of rain. So because of that, we've seen the area of rotation kind of tighten up a little bit. It looks like it is, with each scan, getting stronger and stronger. So if you are in Humnoak, Hamilton, if you're up towards 381, Lynn Road, Daniels Road, and even if you're up towards Carlisle, Lone Oak, that's a ways away. We'll see if this holds together. But definitely, if you're in the south central or southern part of Lonoke County, get to your tornado safe spot. I do think this is starting to wrap up a little bit, and it even looks a little bit more impressive on Storm Scan, Barry, with the inbound winds kind of showing up a little bit better. I still find two distinct areas of rotation there, southwest of Hamilton, and then just north of Humnoke.
But it almost looks like they're trying to merge together.
Yeah, one big circulation maybe right there, kind of on the east side of this storm. And it's kind of odd. We're seeing very heavy rain in downtown. Elsewhere, the main area of heavy rain is in Lonoke County. This has kind of become the dominant storm very quickly. And we'll wait every scan. Debris detector continuing to show us really no indication that there's any debris being lofted into the air. But it does kind of look like this storm is at the beginning stages of trying to get a velocity signature that could produce a tornado. And that right there at the intersection of Highway 13 and 232, that's a pretty significant couplet there.
Yeah.
And I'll circle that for you. That right there is kind of what we're watching. I actually think maybe both. I think both may be rotating there. Yeah, both of those. I think we could be seeing an attempt at producing a tornado here shortly.
Yeah, I still not seeing anything as far as debris, but that could wait just a little bit if indeed there's something happening. So hopefully there is nothing happening. But if you're in that area along Highway 13, that's where we've been saying it's a large area of wind coming toward, large areas coming away from, but within that, right along the highway there could be a couple of separate spots that we see some rotation. And either of those spots, I think, could be producing a tornado. They are kind of looking like they might want to be coming together into one smaller area. But that storm is rather large. Hopefully this is as brief as all the others have been. In the order of 10 or 15 minutes, we see this thing moving away. But it is kind of out by itself.
This is kind of looking a little bit more supercellular than anything else we've had to track tonight. And I want to point out why that is. We have got a large kind of area of inflow over here near Hamilton and a very large and very strong area of outflow just north of Humnoke. You kind of see that the two... you've got the greens, you've got the reds, and in the middle, that's kind of where they're meeting and trying to produce a tornado. You can almost kind of see both of them are trying to begin to rotate around one another. And so when they do meet up, and if they can kind of form a tight circulation, we'll definitely get a tornado out of this as this drifts towards the north. I don't know that we do this moment, but I think it's going to be very possible as we go through the next few minutes. So central, southern Lonoke County, get into your tornado safe spot immediately. You got the alert on your phone. This has just been a long, long, long day, thanks to Arkansas weather. I don't even think we were on this long for Hurricane Laura in 2020 with the round of tornadoes that hurricane brought. In just a few hours. This has been seemingly unending since this system has entered the state. We're going to continue to monitor this. This area of rotation continues to tighten, and we're going to monitor just to see if anything starts to pop on the debris detector.
Still didn't see anything.
And there's the possibility, it doesn't match up. So still not seeing anything. We're just watching it. We've called out a few of the roads, Hamilton Loop, Daniels Road. We're just going to watch scan by scan. Now, just get into your safe place, and now we watch and wait, scan by scan, to see if this actually does try to form a tornado. We may have one little tight area of circulation there off of Arkansas 13, but I think the more concerning part to me is kind of the larger circulation. This is a very large circulation area with a very strong inflow, and with the last couple of scans, very strong outflow winds, and if you get the two to meet, that's how you actually end up with a strong tornado, not just something that kind of forms out of thin air. This looks a little bit more concerning from a high-level view than some of the other circulations that we've looked at tonight. So hopefully it begins to weaken soon, but if you're anywhere along Arkansas Highway 13, my advice is to get in your tornado safe place and stay there for a few minutes until we give you the all clear. And hopefully this thing falls apart rather quickly. I'm going to go now to reflectivity, see if it looks any different. And I'll point out that this thing is really taking on a life of its own. This storm that's out in Lonoke County is just kind of all by itself instead of being embedded in an area of rain. And again, you see there's storms off towards the west, there's storms off towards the east, and then some of the storms off towards the southeast. Arkansas County just completely dissipated. So now this thing is all by itself in a highly, highly sheared environment, in a pretty unstable environment, and now you've got it starting to spin, so that's why there's so much concern surrounding this storm. We do have one tiny little, what we call a couplet, where the inbound and outbound winds come together, and that's just north of Jordan Break along Arkansas Highway 13. But again, I'm pointing out that this entire thing is rotating right here, this entire storm. And so if you can get kind of this to tighten up a little bit, you can end up with a pretty strong tornado from that. So I hope that doesn't happen. No guarantee it will happen, but that's kind of my thoughts on the situation as it stands right now. A little bit more serious than it's been, it appears.
Still very broad, but somewhere in the middle there could be small circulations. But the inbound and outbound wind, you're right, but it's over a broad area, and it is concerning because the winds are really high coming toward the radar site and going away from the radar site over these broad areas, especially going away from the radar site right there toward Highway 13. So in this area, I think that's where, and even up to Carlisle with this, if this storm is large and doesn't have any competition, we're going to have to really watch it. The National Weather Service thinks the same thing, so there is a tornado warning in effect. Again, we've already said anywhere along the Highway 13 corridor and several miles either side of it, just go ahead and get into that safe spot in your house, most interior part of your house, and away from exterior walls and windows and the lowest floor you can. So we're going to continue to watch it and hope that this is not doing anything. But for right now, we have 14,000 without power. We've just had 660 plus power outages in Lonoke County. There are about 2,800 without power in Pulaski County. I think that could be lightning related more than wind related. But 600 plus in Lonoke County and 400 in Arkansas County. As far as power outages in southern Lonoke County now, no, I'm not seeing many. I'm seeing some south of England. So Entergy, in the Entergy system, there's a good number without power, about 634 customers south of England and all the way down almost to Pine Bluff. That whole circuit is without. But this is the one that we're watching right now. James, I just don't know. It's a broad area. There's some areas where the tighter, the fast winds toward and away are starting to come together a little bit more, but tight couplet, I'm not sure.
Yeah, not quite. Just kind of a very large, broad area of rotation, and I still think we're kind of getting into the point where we can start to see this kind of get together and produce a tornado or two kind of along this convergence zone. That's what this is. This is a convergence zone. You've got winds moving away from the radar. You've got winds moving towards the radar, and this right here is the area that we're going to have to watch for tornado, maybe a tornado or two. And now, Barry, I think we're starting to see something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Right along the highway.
Still nothing on debris signature, but right there approaching Hamilton Loop. And then we've got two pretty distinct circulations, one near Underwood Road and one right along Highway 13. So those two kind of are the main show right now, and there's the next scan. They're even stronger. So right there, two circulations, very strong inflow winds, very strong outbound winds. Hamilton Loop, Blue Point Road, Arkansas Highway 13 up towards Hillman Road. Hopefully you guys have been in your tornado safe place for some point. And if you know somebody that went to bed, and doesn't pay attention to the weather, it may not be a bad idea to give them a call if they live in this area, because this has gotten pretty serious pretty quickly. I mean, just look over the last 30 minutes, just the color difference in the radar. I mean, we went from really having weak rotation to now having pretty strong thunderstorm with strong rotation in a couple of spots, Barry. That is very concerning, just given the type of environment that's in place as far as wind fields go. And you don't often get, I mean, this is turning into a kind of a springtime tornadic supercell. Look at this. You don't often get this with a tropical system. And this thunderstorm is by itself. I mean, honestly, there's no reason this should not go on to produce a tornado now. Kind of going over everything, kind of checking all the boxes. This is getting pretty serious pretty quickly. So Hamilton, Arkansas Highway 13. Get in your safe place. Still don't see anything on debris detector, I don't believe. Hopefully this thing gets oriented in a way that's less favorable for tornado development.
I'm not sure. The debris, it could be some there, but in any event, Carlisle, on up the road, you just need to be paying attention to this. It's a little ways away. It's not moving all that fast, but anywhere up to the north, because the general movement is off to the north now. I want you to be very wary of this, and when we say hey, or when we don't say, you need to be in that safe spot. Either we tell you that this is losing its identity, or we tell you to get into your safe spot, but just leave it right here, and we'll continue to monitor this very closely. I'm not I'm not sure that we aren't seeing
there's two distinct
spots.
areas of rotation really embedded within this.
I think it very well somewhere within that could be producing something, but it's along that Hamilton Loop Road, Blue Point Road, along Highway 13, and maybe just off to the east side of that. And there's a new Billy Smith Road, Parker's Corner Road. If you're anywhere in that area, go ahead and get into the safe spot in your house. Just a lot of wind energy coming toward and going away as it lifts off to the north. And I'll show you even the reflectivity part of this. It's pretty much out by itself there with that little hook echo. I'll look for debris again. And oops, not quite there. Not really. I don't believe I'm seeing anything there. On storm scan. Yeah. But I still think if we can go to a storm scan, I think it may show it just a little bit better. Guys, if we go to our other source, I think what we'll see is right along the two. Let me move it out of your way a little bit. And right within here, there are circulations amidst the broad circulation of this storm. I think that's one right up there where the tornado vortex signature is, and there could be others down here as well. But it is moving off to the north. Carlisle, you're up here, so it's a little ways away. I don't think this is moving very quickly to the north. It doesn't seem like it has a great forward speed, James, but it's definitely lifting off to the north.
Yeah, I'm trying to diagnose whether we're getting a real tornado vortex signature or not. You can kind of see where we started, and now the area of wind is kind of rotating around. We've got
I think there is one now.
Tight couplet there right along Arkansas 13. We've got another one right along Hamilton Loop Road. So we are tracking two distinct circulations within the overall circulation. Maybe three. Now we're kind of making a jump off towards the north there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at a couple of different sources, and
I think there's something.
I can't definitively say that
I think
what
there's
we're
something
looking
right
at.
by Highway 13. At what are the roads that you're looking at there?
That is going to be
Parker's Corner Road,
Parker's Corner,
Maury
and that's
Road.
Otis Parker Road.
Yeah,
Clay
right in
Corner
there.
Road. Yeah, that's
I think there's something to that.
that
folks.
right there.
If you're in that area along Highway 13, we've already told you to be in your tornado safe spot, but I think we'll be looking for a possible debris signature in that area.
Yeah, that's the strongest part of the circulation.
There might be some bit there, but that's definitely the strongest part. It's all kind of wrapping into that, more into that one area too. That's the tightest couplet. And it would not shock me if there was some, at least small, tornado on the ground there. Not 100%, but let's be in our safe spot no matter what.
Yeah, I'll continue to kind of work up the line here. Parker's Corner, and then that road that goes towards the north is Rayburn Road, Zion Road, and over towards Arkansas 86. This is not moving in a straight line. So really, just if you're in this zone there in the southern part of Lonoke County, just get in your safe spot. And better to be safe than sorry. Because this looks a lot different than anything we've had to deal with tonight.
Yeah, that is it's pretty tight. James, just as an aside, we're getting reports of water rescues in the Little Rock area.
Okay.
Don't go out. Don't go anywhere if you don't have to at all. That may go without saying, but it has rained very, very heavily, and there still is some rain out there. And we had tremendous amounts of rain that lifted up here, and probably in those spots that are more prone to it. You know, the lower lying areas out to the east side of downtown, Boyle Park. There are some places that are like that, but that just stay off the roadways because it came down very, very quickly. We had an inch of rain in 10 minutes at one point. So and we are under a flash flood warning. So don't go anywhere if you don't have to, especially if you know it's in an area that could have, that's in a lower area. We still, are you seeing anything? I don't see anything as far as debris.
I'm seeing it. It's not as oriented quite as good.
No.
At the current moment, still have an area of strong rotation right along Highway 13, but definitely a downtick in the last minute or two.
Yeah, right.
So this inbound wind's not quite as strong, so maybe that'll help this thing begin to weaken just a little bit, though. I still would say that in and around Highway 13, there's still enough rotation there where I should say everybody stay in your safe spot, at least for the minute. Broadview Road, Hillman Road over to Parker's Corner, Zion Road, all those areas right there along the convergence zone. That's where we can see a tornado. Hopefully we see a weakening trend continue here. There's a look at the storm itself, kind of all out by itself, extremely heavy rain falling from it. And for the Little Rock area, that heavy storm has finally kind of moved off towards the north, so the Little Rock Airport getting a break. 1 hour rainfall total at Little Rock, 2 inches, 2.3 inches. And we received an inch of that in about 10 minutes. So it's been, that was the forecast for Little Rock, was 2 to 4 inches of rain, and we're going to hit it.
There it was. We do continue to see some big broad rotation out to the east of Little Rock. This is down to the southeast now of Carlisle. This whole area is kind of moving off to the northeast. And there is some rotation, but that it doesn't look, especially the big inbound area of winds toward the radar, I don't think it looks as pronounced as it was, and probably outbound too. But the meeting point of those two, I think we could have seen some brief touchdown of a tornado. Didn't see anything on the debris detector though, but there were some spots that were some tight rotations, and I think it's still possible within this tornado warned area, which runs up through Lonoke County and just the western part of Prairie County also. as it's moving off to the north. Still some strong winds in that area. And I don't see any other storms that are rotating anywhere close to that.
No, this is kind of the only one. And it's not quite as tight as it was, but there's still a couple of spots along this convergence zone that concern you for the possibility of a tornado, maybe even into the western side of Prairie County there.
Right.
Carlisle, it's time, if you've been waiting, go ahead and get into your safe spot just to be on the safe side. This thing kind of continues to spin up a couple of different areas of rotation. There's one that continues to be on the west side of Highway 13. There's another one now on the county line approaching Highway 86. I think maybe some of this strong wind may eventually get up towards the Hazen Airport. Here in downtown, it's raining once again. I can hear it outside. Yeah, we'll continue to add to the rainfall totals. No doubt the Little Rock Fire Department is going to be busy at the moment with water rescues. Kind of glad we're not getting this rain in the middle of the day. It would have been a much bigger mess. But hate to see any tornadoes occur at night. And a couple areas of rotation now. The eastern section of Lonoke County. Hopefully this storm will kind of orient its way into a way that's going to be unfavorable for producing a tornado. But at least for the moment, a couple of spots. One of them is now right near Highway 86 in the western part of Prairie County. The other one is still near Highway 13 in Lonoke County.
Yeah, that's the area. Now 13,500 without power across Arkansas, including here in Pulaski County, 2,800 without power, 818 in Lonoke County, 487 in Arkansas County, almost 1,000 in Grant County, and some other spots, 1,200 without power in Hempstead County in southwest Arkansas. But this is the one that we're continuing to watch, and this will be our focus for at least a little while here. Now, as we've slipped over into Tuesday, still wind going away from, going back toward, but over a broader area. And the meeting point is right along the Lonoke and Prairie County line down to the southeast of Carlisle. All of this kind of has translated to the east just a touch. It was kind of right along Highway 13, and now it's more along the county line there. If you're in this area, just stay in a tornado warned area in your tornado safe spot. It is a tornado warned area, and it won't last forever. These are not going to continue to just be a threat forever. But for right now, you're still in the warned area, so let's be safe rather than sorry. Trying to look and see what the National Weather Service is talking about here, and they extended the tornado watch until 2 a.m. And they'll be clearing out some of South Arkansas out of the watch as the system moves up to the north. Still watching that eastern part of Lonoke County and western Prairie County for a while longer. There's Highway 86, there's Highway 13, so it's kind of on the east side of Highway 13. A lot of wind energy there. It's still down to the south of Carlisle, and there's no immediate threat to Carlisle. That rotation is well away from you, and it's a broad rotation at that. And we haven't seen anything on the debris detector, so that is some good news. We'll go back to that in just a second. I do want to show you the watch area, and it has been expanded up a little bit on up to the northeast, up into the Batesville and Searcy area until 2 a.m. I think at some point, though, we're going to start to see this die down. It just extended out about an hour and 15 minutes because it was going to die out at midnight tonight. But a lot of these counties, I think, will be deleted from it as the circulation center moves up into the state. Still just watching that one storm, though, as the strongest one. Here's kind of an overview of what's happening. You can see the rain, the heavy rain that moved through the Little Rock area is now moving up into the Conway area. It's one tornado warning, which is Lonoke and western Prairie County. Heavy rain in White County also. And then we look at the tornado warned storm and the velocities alongside it. Doesn't look quite as impressive as it did just a few minutes ago, James.
It does, and I'm looking at videos from Benton of flash flooding there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of flash flooding. If you happen to see flooding, don't go out of your way to take pictures of flooding. But if you happen to see it, you can send it to us at katv.com/chime in, or Twitter, Facebook, any of those means. And you see the wind kind of oriented itself away from being real favorable for producing a tornado as it crossed over Highway 13. That's when rotation was the strongest. Now, beginning to weaken, but we still have some rotation there on the western side of Prairie County, and it's kind of getting away from how the original tornado warning box was drawn, but this is getting close to the Hazen Municipal Airport. Really, just towards the southwest, we've got an area of rotation, and there's Highway 86, and now we're still generally moving northward, but this kind of moved northeast instead of north or northwest like a lot of our storms have done today. So we'll continue to watch around Highway 86, Hazen Municipal, and Hazen. Technically, these couple of areas are outside of the tornado warning box. The time now getting close to 12 a.m. We'll see what the Weather Service does with this tornado warning, Barry. They may opt to let it go with the decrease in rotation there.
Expires it? Yes, they did just now. Will expire at 12:15.
Yeah, so they're going to let it go. You see there's a severe thunderstorm warning that they have just replaced that with. So we're looking at high winds.
Yeah.
No doubt still some weak rotation, but not an imminent tornado threat as this storm moves towards the east. So
Yeah,
that
it
severe
just
thunderstorm
never-
warning covers a lot of Carlisle, Hazen, Des Arc.
Okay, yeah, it just never quite ramped up. We're going to continue to watch for other signs of rotation elsewhere.
I do think that we have to watch this as it moves north. It just looks,
sure.
Structurally too good. You can see kind of the hook echo there. Not producing a tornado right now, not imminent, but as it approaches I-40 and then moves off towards the north, it's going to cross between Carlisle and Hazen. We'll have to watch to see what it does as it moves toward the north. So we're going to be here all night. If you are away from areas of the storms that are rotating, head off to bed. Just make sure you have the KTV weather app set. I would say the areas that we're going to have to really watch for tornadoes would be along US 67 and to the east, and along I-40 and to the north, though some of you south of I-40 need to be paying attention as well. East of US 67, you got to be in advance of the center of the storm and also just a touch to the east, and so that's what we'll be watching for really these next 2, 3, 4 hours. Notice the band of heaviest rain set up right along US 67, kind of like what we thought would happen. So your heaviest rainfall total is going to come from this zone right here, and it started raining heavily in Conway, and there's not a lot of movement to what's going on right there northwest of US 67. So some flash flooding again, probably going to become likely in those spots.
All right, no tornado warnings are in effect. James, there are just a few little spots perhaps that we need to keep a watch on over to the east of town. I don't know that this is going to be our last tornado warning of the night, the one that has now expired. I'll go to the end, but it has been allowed to expire, even though the red, there it is, it's gone now. So we're going to watch this storm most especially. There are some areas of rotation. There's an area of rotation just to the north of Carlisle. Doesn't look all that strong. It's kind of on the backside of the storm there. So I don't know that that is going to be a big issue, but we'll continue to watch all of these areas. Just know that there's going to be wind out there. And if there's any threat of rotation, we're going to be around here. James, what do you think?
Yeah, this storm, the rotation not quite as not near as strong. That's why they let the tornado warning expire. So I agree with that assessment as this storm moves north. Still have to watch it though. In an environment like this, next to a tropical system, very well could go on to produce something at some point. Back towards the metro area, nothing looks tornadic. Just watching heavy rain move towards the north. I think for many of us tonight, this is going to be a flash flood deal, and we've got lots of heavy rain stretching from Searcy back towards Conway, and Little Rock Airport just added a little bit more rain to the total, which is over 2 inches. You saw how quickly we got 2 inches of rain say 4 or 5 inches from a tropical system, you think it might come over the course of a day or two. Really, tropical systems, it just comes very quickly in the heavier bands of rain that you get. So the most ominous looking storm in the state is that storm towards the south of Carlisle, or right over Carlisle right now, and that's the one we'll really be watching, of course. But as we look into other areas of the state, we'll be watching these cells that are moving into eastern Arkansas just to make sure they don't rotate. I will say, as we go deeper into the overnight hours, the chance for a lot of tornadoes probably starts to go down just a little bit.
All right. For now, we're going to continue to watch this. We're going to grab a drink of water. We're going to send you back to programming briefly. The map of the state of Arkansas, along with that severe thunderstorm warning now, which the storm out to the east of Carlisle, southeast of Carlisle. We're going to continue to watch that storm, and don't get outside and don't go anywhere in the Little Rock area, especially. There are other spots. Benton, we've seen some reports of some flooding as well, but we are going to stay here and watch it until this threat leaves. And so keep it right here on Channel 7. There doesn't seem to be an immediate threat. Again, though, we're going to keep a close watch on this storm out to the east of town. And we'll be here, and we'll be back.
Weeknights on Charge.
With Major Case.
What kind of person joins the Major Case squad?
I'm the whack job.
Let's just say they're quirky.
Put a label on it. All I want to do is find the killer.
Their methods are unorthodox.
We're looking at 2 murders, one a murder, one maybe not a murder.
And they get right to the point.
Yeah.
Aren't there any murders we can talk about?
See what I mean?
But you can't argue with results.
You're going down for murder and armed robbery.
You are under arrest.
Law and Order. Criminal Intent. Weeknights at 9, 8 Central on Charge. What the flip is this? It's TBD Weeknights.
Would you repeat that?
I said it's TBD Weeknights.
It's amazing. And it's even more amazing with Key and Peele and Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, that's nice.
That was spectacular.
You did blow my mind.
Oh no, where you going?
There you are. Disperse.
Wait for it.
What is happening? I'm getting goosies over here.
You're on your way to a fun night. Weeknights on TBD.